I'm only going to talk about one thing with you all today, and that's really it. We're going to go on a very basic but deep level at the same time. So we're going to be talking about imposter phenomenon today. Imposter phenomenon. In the chat, if you can, has anybody ever heard about imposter phenomenon? Put a one in the chat if you've heard about imposter phenomenon before. You could do that. Okay, so I'm glad to see that. If you haven't, what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so a couple different things here that I just want to talk about with imposter phenomenon, and I really like to give examples, especially this particular person right here. Anybody know who this person is? Feel free to speak it out if you can.
Yes, that's Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama is correct. All right. So this is the first lady of our presidency when Barack Obama was in office, and she's a brilliant woman. I admire her in so many different ways, but particular, I want to point out to a specific quote. If you all don't know, she has a couple of bestsellers, and her very first bestseller, "Becoming," when she was going on an interview tour, she had this quote to say. She said specifically, I still have a little bit of imposter syndrome. It never goes away. That you're actually listening to me. It doesn't go away the feeling that you shouldn't take me that seriously. What do I know? Now, isn't that remarkable, right? This is Michelle Obama, a wonderful wife, a wonderful mother. She was a lawyer, all those different things, an activist. And even when she gets around certain people, she experiences this phenomenon. Okay, so one thing I just want to make clear, imposter syndrome or imposter phenomenon is the same two things. So I will be referring to syndrome as a phenomenon, right? Because a phenomenon is something that we quite don't understand. And that's what we're really trying to understand with you all today. Okay, so before we get into learning more about imposter phenomenon, I just want to talk about some goals with you all that I have for you all today. Really simple. We're going to understand imposter phenomenon and we're going to recognize its signs, right? Because one of the things about imposter phenomenon that's impacting us all is that this is a common thing that we're all going through. As a matter of fact, over 70% of the people in the United States are actually experiencing this imposter phenomenon. So this is running rabbit as of right now. This is one of the biggest issues that's actually impacting not only the youth, but everybody, okay? So before I get into learning more about imposter phenomenon, right, I want to briefly talk about who I am a little bit. So I'm from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, born and raised, a wonderful city, and I'm a big Thunder fan. Currently, we're in the playoffs, so I hope the best for us in the next coming days. Secondly, I went to Langston University, which is the only HBCU in Oklahoma. If you don't know what an HBCU is, that just stands for a historically black college university. Okay, I actually went there and received my degree in chemistry. After that, I attended Louisiana State University, LSU, where I once again got my PhD in inorganic chemistry. And during that time, I became a wonderful father. I'm a father of two wonderful girls, and I actually have some more on the way. So please be praying for me out there as well. And then lastly, and this is what I'm here for you all today, is that I started a company called Don't Be Scared that specifically focuses on self-doubt in STEM. So STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math, right? Because one of the biggest issues that is impacting those environments is self-doubt. A lot of people are scared to go in those fields because they don't believe that they belong in that. And that's essentially what imposter phenomenon is doing us today. So just so I could get to know you all just a little bit better, right? I have a little exercise that I would like everybody to participate with, right? So this is very similar. If you played this game before, two truths and a lie, but I like to call it the achievement edition. So in this case, I call this one truth and a lie. So this is what I would like you all to do. All of you all will share two statements about yourselves. Okay, one of these are going to be a true achievement, and the other will be a lie. Okay, and the task is to figure out, well, which one is a lie. Okay, very simple. So for example, let me start off. My two statements are I have published a research paper in a renowned journal, and I've also climbed Mount Everest. So if you could put in the chat, which one do you think is the truth? Put a 1 if you believe I have published a research paper in a renowned journal, or put a 2 if you believe I've climbed Mount Everest. Okay. So I'm unable to see exactly the responses, but let's get straight.
I can be your co-pilot. Okay. I'll be your co-pilot.
Okay.
We've got 2 2s and 1 1.
Okay, so 2 2s.
Some people think you were climbing up the mountain.
Okay, all right. So that's wonderful because in this case, I actually have published a research paper in a renowned journal. So that's my actual truth. I have not climbed anything in this case. I barely climb a tree. So that was my lie, okay? So what I want you all to do is to give yourself 45 seconds to think of 2 statements, okay? I want you to think of 2 statements, a truth and a lie. And after that 45 seconds, I'm going to go around the room and we're going to hear those statements and put in the chat to see what we think of each one, okay? So at this time, I'm going to give you all 45 seconds to reflect, and then we're going to come back. And thank you all for sharing those. And the reason why I have this icebreaker here is that, well, basically, right, with imposter phenomenon is that one thing that can actually combat that is that if you state your truths or you state your achievements, right? Because what happens sometimes is that we could get uncomfortable saying our achievements around others, right? We start to feel like, well, did I really earn that achievement, right? Or is this really something that people will believe, right? Did I really accomplish this? Well, one thing, especially when you share it in a public setting, right, it could be very hard to share those different things. But here's a tip for everybody. You don't remember anything else from this presentation is that once you start to share your accomplishments, even just the smallest ones, that's the best way to combat that negative self-talk that comes with imposter phenomenon, right? So once again, always, if you don't do anything else, always feel free to share and remember and reflect on those achievements because you earned those and you deserve everything that comes with those achievements, okay? So let's dive into imposter phenomenon, right? Because I want to make sure we have a clear understanding of what this is. So imposter phenomenon, right? If you heard this before, you probably heard of this definition right here. It involves feelings of self-doubt or insecurity that persist despite your education, your experience, and your accomplishments, right? So in reality, this is self-doubt that is creeping in, all right? So in particular, right, this is the standard definition, but we want to make sure we understand imposter phenomenon. So not only is imposter phenomenon having these feelings of self-doubt, even though you could have that education degree in computer science, right? Or if you have the experience as a facilitator for more than 20 years, right? You could still have this self-doubt. Here's the thing that makes imposter phenomenon what makes it what it is. So imposter phenomenon specifically, you are giving those self-doubts excuses to something else. Right? So you might think that the achievements that you got is in reality fake news, right? You think that you're successful because of other different things, right? You believe that you're successful because somebody was helping you out. For example, you believe that you're successful because you're nice, right? You think just because you have a wonderful personality, you think that you got to your position because everybody thought that you were nice. You also believe you're successful because you were very lucky. You just happen to be at the right spot at the right time at the right moment. You believe that you're successful because you think anybody can do it. And in this case, this is a picture of a chemist, right? As my background in chemistry, right? It's so easy that a baby could do it, right? You believe that you're successful because you had a little bit of help. Right? If it wasn't for Gary, you wouldn't be in a position that you are in now. Here's the thing about imposter phenomenon. When you start giving all your achievements to other people, to other things, to other excuses, you forget why you're in the seat that you are in today. right? So one thing you want to make sure you remember is that you earn that right to be in the seat that you are in today, right? You are not an imposter if you understand that, okay? And that right there is the core to imposter phenomenon. And if you are interested in learning more, feel free to contact me after about a self-assessment, right? We were only able to make sure we understand imposter phenomenon. Now that we have a better understanding of it, we'll see if we can assess to see how bad is imposter phenomenon actually impacting us today, as there's many costs to having this phenomenon. Thank you all for your time. It was definitely a joy and pleasure to be with you all today, and I hope to see you all again. Thank you.